Today in our 2011 Ford F53 chassis, we're going to be installing SuperSprings SumoSpring Rebel Custom Helper Springs for the front axle, part number SSF-173-40-2. These SumoSprings are going to increase ride quality by making it softer when going over bumps. They're also going to help reduce sway on uneven pavement by leveling out that load, and also keeping it more level under a heavier load. It'll help distribute that weight evenly between one side and the other. As the spring compresses, it'll dynamically push back, helping push that weight onto the other side. What this means to you is it's going to help reduce driver fatigue, because when you're going down the road hitting those bumps, it's not going to cause that steering to go veering in one direction as hard as it used to. It's going to help make it easier for you to keep it going in a straight line. This way, when you get where you're trying to go, you're ready to explore rather than go to bed. This dampening effect can also help increase the life of the components on your vehicle. If it reduces vibration and harsh hits, it's going to reduce how much stress is on those components. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let's show you how to get them installed. Now before you begin your installation, you're going to want to chalk both the front and rear side of your rear wheels, and then use the leveling jacks on the front to raise up the front end of the vehicle to make it easier to install the SumoSprings. We'll begin our installation underneath the front of our vehicle on the passenger side. Remove the Jeonse bumper with a 13mm socket. The nut's welded inside the frame on top, but if the nut is spinning and the bolt's not coming out, you may need to hold that nut with a 15mm wrench. Then repeat that same process on the other side. Save the bolt because we'll be needing it to reinstall with our SumoSprings. Now that we've got our Jeonse bumper out, we'll prepare our upper bracket. Take the shorter silver bolts, slide them down through the holes on each side of the tapered edges. And then your bolt you removed that was from your Jeonse bumper, slide that up through the middle hole. We'll now install this into the frame. The two bolts that we put down on our upper bracket will thread into these holes on our spring. Once you get them started, tighten them down with a 14mm wrench. We'll then install our lower spring. Pay careful attention to the lower bracket because the hole is going to be further away from the spring on one side than it is on the other side. The side that's closer to the spring will go towards the outside, towards the wheel. Take one of the longer silver bolts, thread it through, then put a flat washer on. Now put one of your angled hooked brackets over the bolt and hook it into the upper leaf spring mount, and then thread on a nut. You'll do the same thing on the other side of your lower bracket. Now tighten down your lower bracket hardware using a 14mm socket and wrench. Once your hardware is all tightened down, you can repeat this same process on the other side. Once you've got it lowered down, just check to make sure that your springs have seated properly. And that completes our installation of SuperSprings SumoSprings Rebel Custom Helper Springs for the front axle on our 2011 Ford F53 chassis.